Hi everybody, I'm here this afternoon with Claudio. Are you to me? Hello Claudio.
Hello, Karen. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've had a chat, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I just
How's
stick.
the weather
I
there?
just stick with my friends now. I used to do all sorts of hangouts, but I actually prefer having the hangouts with the people.
Right.
That's the best thing, and each one of you's got a little bit that it all adds up into this big thing. That's what I see. You've all got
Rightfully so.
bits of the puzzle.
Yes, 100%. Can only be that way.
Yeah, we can't all do the same thing, can we? But
Yeah.
I very much appreciate it, and I know that people come and look at the videos that we do together because you're into astrology.
Yep. Yep. It's a pretty amazing tool.
So we're going to put your video on, but we won't hear. So do you want to just explain a little bit about this video that's going on then, Claudio?
Okay. The one
ISIS
that's
is the
titled.
Bible.
Right. So the word ISIS is synonymous with Madonna. So we used to call it metaphysics in the Bible, but now we're calling it ISIS in the Bible. The word Lord means divine feminine, ruling goddess. So that's why we changed it to ISIS in the Bible. When you now look at the word Lord is in the Bible 1,200 times. So that means the divine feminine, the word woman is in the Bible over 7,000 times, where they only had Mother Mary like 50 something times. So
Really?
the map, yes, overtaking the feminine, and now it's time to change back. Hence why we're upon a phoenix
How many times does it say
rising.
man, or haven't you added that one up, Oskin?
Well, you've got the word God in there. You had the word Lord, which means woman. Divine feminine, the pure one. You got the word God in there. You got the word Christ in there. You got the word Lord in there. You got the word man in there. You got lots of man in there. I don't know. I've never looked. But God is referring to gods and goddesses. The Egyptians said that everyone is a god and a goddess. Psalm 82 says, Lord says that we're all gods and goddesses. We're all children of the divine feminine. It said that in Psalm 82. So the Bible is an astrology book. It's a hitchhiker's guide to the galaxy. That's what's important, is that we understand that.
Can I ask you something? Why is it so much about Mary if they mention women much more? This side of it. The churches are into Mary, aren't they? But she's only mentioned so many times in the book, whereas women and men are mentioned all the time.
Right. But the divine feminine, the pure love, Mother Mary, the word Lord is the divine feminine, the one that's never literal. If you listen to the song Going to California by Led Zeppelin, you'll hear him say the queen without a king. You'll hear him say the woman that's never, ever been born. They're speaking about in that song the phoenix rising that we are upon. See, they all thought in the 60s and 70s that the year 2000 was going to be the time, but it's not. It's now. So
it's next year, isn't it, Claudio?
No, this is the year.
Oh, 2023 is the year, not 2024.
No.
Right. Oh, I can't wait. Are they going? Yay! Sorry, Claudio, I have to say that because I don't like them. But, Claudio, do you remember that we did hangouts with Santos and Charlie Freak? It was a good few years ago. And he was explaining that the Bible is the journey inside you, and then the crucifixion is at the back of the neck. And that's how you get from your shoulders to your brain to do this cleansing on yourself. Do you follow it like that?
Every atom, this is where physics is exactly equal to metaphysics. We chase the physics part. We chase the body part. We chase I understand the whole thing that Santos mentions about the Christ rising. That whole thing, there's a 1920 book that goes through the exact same thing in a lot of detail that I'm not sure if Santos got it from there or where he got it from, but It's
Is
a
it
beautiful
that the
thing.
Bible has cut out the feminine side? Is that what it's done?
Right, the feminine side, the love side.
Is that what the Bible's done though? It's cut out this whole connection with women and made it male and made it a man and Jesus and all that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. We're just looking at lots of pictures. You and the Sun and Horus, Pluto, Regeneration and Anubis, Ceres, Harvest and Amit, Mercury, what was that? Acacia, Troth, and it goes on. There's more of them.
That's the Akashic.
Yeah.
That's Thoth. That's the scribe. That's the one that's symbolic. It's not an actual entity, but it is an energy in the sky, so that we know when we're delivering our karma. Like people call me and let me say, hey, I'm going through all this crap in my life. What's going on? And then you go, look, well, they had Mercury in retrograde, and Mercury was transiting their Mercury in retrograde, so of course they're getting their karma delivered to them. But it can be good karma or not good karma. So that's the weighing of the heart ceremony that started on January 12th, 2020.
And anyway, I think in this video as well, you're putting together this whole time for 2023, but you've gone back to 2020 and it says second time, third time with Pisces. Just about, I don't know, 10 minutes in. But you're obviously going back to come forward, aren't you? Where it started.
Right, so
fourth time.
Right, so that's a timeline. Yeah, I started off with the timeline of how the story of Santa Claus, the mother, the pure love comes into our head. That's Isis, that's Madonna, that's Mictecawatl, that's the woman that's never ever been born. That's pure love. This is what brings us back to one love. This is what is the pole shift. So she's been slowly coming in more and more and more and more, and people are cleansing, and they have to get together with love and family and love thy neighbor. It's happening. There's no choice. Spirit Mother's back. Entry. You can forget about your mother when she's gone away for the weekend, but then she shows up, and how do you feel? And you've been in the house is a mess. You're full of friends. You've been partying.
Right. You say on your video down, the whole Bible is about women who meets her son on the Stations of the Cross, also known as the station.
Woman, the divine feminine.
Yeah.
You know so the Stations of the Cross are the zodiac. The sun meets with what the sun represents us, the gods and the goddesses, meets with the mother. Every 558, she meets on every cycle, every cusp of the zodiac, and it's a lesson for us while we're here getting our human experience. And the only way off the wheel, if you want to get off, because we're infinite, is love. So love is back.
Well, if you're with love, life's a lot better because you love everybody. You start off with love, and empaths are very like that. You know, that's just in us. We don't like other people upset and stuff like that. So it's a form of love. But I do understand that when you're feeling wretched or there's nothing going out, it's all. I do realise that if you've not got love in you, then everything's. Well, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, we gotta let go of that.
Yeah. You kind of got to learn to go with the flow a little bit as well, haven't you, with life? Everybody tries to control everything, and you can't control everything. You can't.
If it's an autopilot, you're allowed to just go with the flow, like you said. But everything that comes into your life is meant for you. It's your Akashic record. Everything in your vision that comes your way, it's up to you as a goddess who can create her own world, and the only way to make sure that your road is paved with love is to love.
So we're all goddesses then?
And right now...
So we're all goddesses, or are you just talking about women?
No, goddess and god, right? Gods and goddess, because the masculine is a little more masculine, and the feminine is a lot more feminine. because we all have the divine feminine within. That's the yin. You know, they talk about the yin and the yang, right?
Caption's got, I'm home, and the firework. Why the fireworks? But those, I think, are telling you about the first, second, and third times of Pisces. So I think you're just leading up to what's happening this year. And it's already started. And I don't know if this makes any difference, but a few days ago, for a couple of days, my computer said, wow, amazing sunset. It's never said that before. It went like, wow, amazing sunset. A couple of days ago.
We're all going to start, right? People are starting to pay attention to the moon. People are starting to see the stars. People are really enjoying the sun.
I think the Big Dipper's moved a bit. I looked at it the other night and I thought, you just don't look right. You're in the wrong place. It was sort of going up,
well, no,
but it was...
because the sun keeps moving, so of course there's an illusion that that's...
Oh, yeah, but I meant it didn't look right in the sky. It just was... It's usually over there a bit. I don't know. Because it goes round my house, Claudia. I can see... If it wasn't cloudy, I could see it all the time. All of it going round and round.
Right, but don't forget, every day...
Oh, yeah, I understand that. I actually think the stars go round twice a day. I added it up once, and they go round like twice a day, really. You just don't see it in the daytime. They're still going round in the daytime. It's just you catch it at night time.
Because the sun's walking... Well, the sun's transiting the zodiac, right? The constellations of the zodiac. So when it's in front of that sign, then you're not going to see those stars. That's where the confusion comes in, and that's why there's the tropical astrology. You know, they're off by 23 degrees. They're following the seasons of the sun. There's good merit in that, but it only works for the fixed house system. And I know I'm saying a lot of things, but it's only for those who follow astrology. The tropical system is a fixed house system. The one that doesn't move, the one that maps the lands, the one that shows you, blows apart the theory of plate tectonics because the world folds in on itself. It's a beautiful divine process.
Did you know that I'd done this? I mean, I have talked about this quite often, Claudio, and I haven't repeated it, but I know when it happens. This person, about 6 years ago, they asked me to go and look at the moon. They said, they told me what it was going to do, and I wish then I had Stan Smith's 360 camera, but I didn't record it because I needed to see what the whole sky was doing. And to be honest, when I saw what was happening in front of me, I was like, oh my God, because no one else seems to understand this. There are 2 times on the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, the moon will be travelling, assuming it's, well, it could be any time, couldn't it? So it's only going to be a few times a year, it's at night that you'll see it. But when you see a moon that you can almost see moving through the sky in front of you, it's on its tropics. And it goes south, and it looks like it kind of picks some stars up and then brings them back and then goes off. And so I just don't understand. We're 2020 stars. It did like a heartbeat wave. It came in, went south, came up and went off. A bit like a dun. And then I did notice that Dave Marsh said that whenever he did any research, you know, when he made charts, quite often it was heartbeats. And there is a heartbeat of the earth. This guy years ago, I met him, Alan, he's into free energy and everything. Alan Murray, I think his name is. I heard it in his car, this heartbeat. And he got recordings of it, and I made a video about it at the time. And it's like you're going in someone around, because you know if you sit there, your heartbeat goes just like da dun da dun, da dun da dun. But the moment you stand up and walk around, your heartbeat goes da dun da dun dun dun. It goes all over the place, and then I suppose if you're running for 10 minutes, it calms down into whatever state. But your heart's always moving around. And I heard it, and it just felt like you're inside someone walking.
Perfect, because the mother's about to give birth on April 15th, right? So we, as the Phoenix Rising, the gods and goddesses that are getting their whole Christ consciousness, that whole every 558 years. I know there's discussion that happens every month, but it's every 558 years that we have the real one, and we're upon that. So the heartbeat you're hearing is the heartbeat of the mother. So the heartbeat of the earth. We're inside the womb of the mother. This earth, you can picture it as being the womb, and we're inside of it. Except there's 8 billion
But you know what?
twins.
I've noticed things that, like you said, that it's all going to change this year. I know a few months ago, I started looking up religions, and it brought me up this page one day, and what I realised was that all the churches, I'm not saying Muslim and maybe, you know, those kind of religions, but I'm talking about the churches in England and the churches you've got. And what it is there is only one church, Catholic. And what it is that this church in where Mickey lives, it's a Protestant church, but it was so Catholic, we thought it was a Catholic church. And then when you look it up, it's called All Saints at Carshalton. It will tell you that we want a modern Catholic way in the Protestant church. But if they're totally separate religions, you wouldn't be able to do it. So I told the vicar, well, he's a father, I know, he's a creator. And he said, yeah, you're right. So I said, well, what do you think you are? Like he's not a vicar, but he does the same sort of thing as in the church. He marries people and everything. But I was just like gobsmacked, because I'd gone off and done this research and said, right, because what they've done is they've changed where you get your sin. So a Catholic believes you get your sin when you get here, and a Calvinist Protestant believes the sin comes with you. So all they've done is move those bits around and created all these churches. But really, the Protestant church does a Father, Son and Holy Spirit. Once you baptise that baby, you're baptising it Catholic, even though you're calling it a Protestant. So all Protestants are baptised Catholic. And I was like, no, because it just changes even what religion is. There's just one, really, Catholic. And the vicar agreed with me. Well, whatever he is, creator, he agreed with me. Because obviously I just worked it all out and told him what I thought, and he said, yeah, you're right. I was really shocked. Yeah, just
Right.
one. So when you've got evangelical, Methodist, Protestant, all that, they're all the same. I don't know. It must be to do with money. You know, like, well, if we break them all up and we can get more taxes out of them or something. I don't know.
The Buddhist is the same. The Muslim is the same. The Quran. Every one of them is the same. What the difference is, and what the fallacy of the Catholic and the Christian churches, they go the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Well, it's really the divine feminine, and then you and your karmic lives, you and your reincarnation. That's the Father and the Son.
Is this a reincarnation then? What we're in now?
You're infinite. You're infinite. You're either two forms. You're either light, okay, or you are in manifest as a field, a body, an atom. So you can stay on the wheel as long as you want, keep reincarnating, not good, or you're in the light, totally up to you. You're infinite. The thing is that if you want to have a good experience here and have only good karma, then there's a set of rules. It's called love.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, there's all these books missing from the Bible for a start, so that probably would explain the female side of it.
There's nothing missing. But the thing is, there's nothing missing. There's missing interpretations, but the Bible that's etched in concrete still exists.
But there's 67 books missing, and Enoch's not in there, and Enoch's really important. Enoch is the sky.
Hang on, hey, sister.
Yeah.
For the last 2,000 years, we've been misinterpreting the original Bible that still exists in concrete. So there's nothing missing. There's interpretations missing, but there's nothing missing because the Egyptian walls are the living Bible. Every story in the Bible, every missing book is
different. I found this history, and this guy was explaining that there was two King Arthurs, and they've amalgamated them into one, so you only see one King Arthur. They are related, but they're about 200 years apart. And then he starts going into this conversation. He said, well, you do realise that religion started in the UK, and that the first person who was crucified, it was the UK, and religion went out to Europe. So Jerusalem's here, in the UK, the first one.
Do you know what the etymology of the word Jerusalem is?
Go on then.
The zodiac.
Ah, well, there's a lot of churches with wheels in, and we learnt that those were to do
Yeah,
astrology. So when they were obviously more
yeah.
pagan, they had these big wheels in there doing whatever they
They're
did.
not. They're not pagan. We're see, the thing is that throughout for the last 2,000 years, we're all misinterpreting, and we all decided we all have our different interpretations, and we created separationism. And now we go back to one love again. And the story everybody's going back to is back to Egypt. And Egypt isn't a place. Egypt is where breadcrumbs are left. So when they started calling go to Egypt, which means foremothers and forefathers, they meant go to that location where the message was left. We then labeled the areas. We labeled that as Egypt, as a place. But we leave the message always in the same spot. It's always in that area because that's where the energy is. That's where the female energy is of the earth, is in that location. So it'll always be there.
Hmm.
So we got to get off.
But it does make sense because the Union Jack runs.
Pagan, Catholic, Christian, Protestant, Muslim, Chinese, this, that. We got to get off of that because every culture has the exact same story of the divine feminine, and the Catholics and the Christians took Lord and made it a man. So we all got to go back to Egypt. But Egypt and Jerusalem is in our body, is in our mind, is in our soul. I want you to leave a message for your grandkids. And I want you to leave them a message about spirituality. How are you going to leave that message? You're going to write it in English? But how that's only going to be good for a couple of generations. I want you to write for your grandkids 3,000 years from now, knowing that languages are going to change. You're going to universal images because there's too much misunderstandings with English language, babble, every different language. So how do you do it for every nationality around the world? You do it with images. But how do you talk about spirituality? Well, you leave it in material. So everybody took what's on the Egyptian walls as material, but it's a metaphysical, spiritual message about you and your travels. The Egyptians taught how to transmigrate, how to reincarnate, the art of reincarnating and having a fantastic life. That's what's written there. No, we're stuck on material. Who's mine? My dog's bigger than yours. My grass is greener. My religion's better than yours. Meanwhile, the divine feminine is in every single culture story. The story of Isis, Horus, and Osiris is in every religion, bar none. The misinterpreted ones, like when you have the word Lord as meaning a man, is really the divine feminine, the all, the pure love. So when we all get back onto our, put our hat back on that we are all one and we all come from the same family tree. Look, you have Isis in Egypt, you got Persephone, you got Eris, Freya, White Buffalo Calf Woman, Albarak, Ma Durga, Madonna, Mictecowatl, Ereshkigal, Kali, Wan Yin, and the list goes on and on and on. And these are the exact same divine feminine, the Lord, in every culture. But where we differ is because of the misinterpretations off of the Egyptian walls. Every great in this world was looking for the Madonna, Eris, Isis, whatever you want to call her, in your neck of the woods, so to speak, because we all separated and we all decided to say, no, my religion's better than yours, so we're going to go over here. But we went further away from the truth.
Yeah. Either religion was religion. They were more, well, I think they were the Knight Templars. That's armies. It was nothing to do with us to begin with. And I just see things, and the Union Jack runs all the flags. If you look at them all, they're all part of the Union Jack. And I just think, wow, maybe there's loads of these flags around. Loads of places, other places with people in, just like us. We're in a prison. This is prison we're in, with the Romans running it. Roman Egyptians, whatever they are, Roman Egyptian things.
So they're not running anything, you run yourself.
Oh, right, because you mean
You're a
if we
goddess.
take any notice of them, but we just get on with our own lives. Yeah.
No, because the karmic love, your life, you don't even know there's a government. The governments are there to deliver karma.
Oh, so they take the dead people then? Dead in the head people.
No, your karma comes from everywhere. You could be walking down the street, you could be walking in the middle of nowhere, your karma will find you. It doesn't matter. Good or not good. So here's the thing. We're in autopilot, but we got to make sure that we're going to listen to what our foremothers and forefathers wrote. We got to get away from looking at a flag, the material stuff. Who cares? Don't you care about your next life? Don't you care about wisdom of how to transmigrate to make sure your next life is good? We're getting caught in the minutia of and I've been there. I've been down every one of those rabbit holes. Now it's time to come out and say, whoa, yeah, we're much more special than we can even imagine. Why are we getting caught up with the minutia? Everything between what's on the Egyptian walls and today is all muddy waters.
Yes, I always sort of thought the Egyptians. I thought the Egyptians inherited lots of stuff. To be honest,
I'm sorry?
I thought the Egyptians, with what's happened here with the pyramids, they didn't make the pyramids. They've inherited all the stuff. But you're saying, it's the Egyptians. They were here for this.
No, okay.
I mean, they just moved in.
The word Egyptian. When I say the word Egyptian, strike that from the records, Your Honor. Our foremothers and forefathers, which is us, reincarnated. We left that message before we went into the Piscean age, where it's the age of nothing but we give each other karma because it's the least amount of love. And here we are, still today, bickering about whose dog's bigger, whose flag, whose religion, whose everything else. But meanwhile, you're in charge of your own world. And that's what we left on the walls during our spiritual Alzheimer's. We have spiritual Alzheimer's. How are you going to come out of it? Get away from the material and the separationism and go to love.
Yes.
So you know what we like to do? We like to get up every day and we like to go find where the differences are. Form our own opinions, but we're not looking for the truth that we've left for ourselves. I focus every day now on making sure that my next life is going to be better than my existing life. And where is how to do that? It's on the Egyptian walls. It's not now. Thank God you're in these muddy waters. There's some beautiful people that learn things and sharing, because that's the only way. But Spirit leaves that breadcrumb behind for us to find. The only way to have this transmitter receiver called the first eye, Tammy Malash calls it the first eye, which I like better, not the third eye, because it's the first one. As that's clearing, we're going to be able to see more, and we are starting to see more. But what clears it faster is love and more truth. But
yeah, we are a set of people, aren't we, that, we know as children, or I grew up and I knew what it was, but we don't say it very often anymore. I mean, it's partly because of everybody's watching that television and what's happening on there, and they don't feel like saying, I love you, but that's what we should be doing all the time. I mean, me and Amy and the girls do, and I do with Mickey, and I say I love Claudia, and I Gary, but I mean, generally people don't say it enough.
Right, so, and when's the last time you said I love you to a stranger?
I haven't actually done that, Claudio. But I feel if anybody's struggling in front of me, I will help them. I don't walk past. I'm a helper, so I'll help them. But I suppose when I go shopping, I'm probably thinking about 100 things. Like there's no one there in my world then. Yeah.
Right.
But if I do see someone struggling, I would help them.
Okay. Perfect. I know you're beautiful that way. Everybody that's around you is your... Everybody.
Yeah, you got to remember, brothers and sisters.
They are. They're one family tree. They have the same...
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but I don't agree with you. I agree with you, because that's how everything should be. But there's lots of not nice people out there that wouldn't see all this or understand it or even care. So I can't put them in the same level because they don't care.
Perfect. Perfect. You took the bait.
Oh, Claudio, you're naughty.
The Egyptian walls, the breadcrumbs that our foremothers and forefathers, which is us, left behind, says that those are all tests. Everyone that you see is your brother and your sister. And the only way that they're always going to be loving to you is by you hugging them and saying that you love them. Random acts of kindness. Then the next time when you go out, the timing will be such that only those that feel exactly like you, full of love and hugs, will be in your path. If you're not full of love, then the timing will be, oh, hang on a second. Somebody will say to you, can you do this for a second at home? Okay. Now your whole timing has changed. And you're going to be put in front of those who are going to say, no way. Right.
Can I say something else very quickly? You know, I'm quite a cunt who fancied them. And then with the way that people have been so nasty, I've probably stepped back a little bit. But I'm a little bit older as well. So, you know, that probably plays a part. But, you know when you meet people if they're nice or not. You know. But I used to, I was always cuddly and everything. But some people, I say, think you like them more than you do because you're just being nice. And a lot of people, they...
Okay, so those people who are users are your karma. So now here's a test.
Oh, thanks a lot, Claudio. But I know I'm not responsible for that. I'm not responsible for all those people. No, I'm not responsible for them. I have met some not nice people in my time, but we've gone past them, and hopefully I'm on the nice course now.
Okay, so when you meet somebody like that, I'm not saying you have what happens when somebody says, this happened to me today. I had one person be really not nice to me over and over again all day. It was in her chart. Whose is it then, if it's in her chart?
But I do agree with you that you might be going, God, I feel really down today. Oh, there it is. It's in astrology. It's in the charts. So I do understand that side of it as well.
Okay, so in your chart, watch this. Here's a beautiful test. Go for a walk. Try to ask some people for a random hug. If somebody doesn't want to, then you got to go home and go, what do I need to change to make sure when I leave the house to go give hugs, everybody wants a hug?
I should go and stand on the corner with a camera going, free hugs here, free hugs.
Right. And then if somebody does
Is that all about because we don't engage with each other anymore, Claudio?
What's that?
Is that because we don't engage with each other anymore? We don't really, do we? And outside anymore. It's not, sorry, Ellie brought my lunch up to me, so there's a bit of crack in here because, yeah, I'm having a fajita, sorry. We don't engage with each other anymore as people, do we? Not really.
She's putting us in a timeout, and we all have to get along now. Get in your room, come out hugging.
Yeah.
Everything that happens to you is in your chart. The free will only comes from the amplitude, but all the bumps are already pre-designed based on your past actions. They're there. Look at sister, I'm doing charts and everything is in people's charts. You don't really need an astrologer. You don't really. You know why? Everything that happens to you is your sign. 100%. Everything that happens to you is your sign. And it's not because somebody else is having a bad day. You left your house so you can meet that person exactly at that time so you can see they have a bad day. That's yours. The sooner we understand
well, it's much better when you know what you're doing, isn't it? It's when people go, I don't know what I'm doing. It's much better when you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's much better when your guidance system is turned on.
I just want to tell you something else as well. I know you should understand it. I'd had a hangout with Alan yesterday. He's been looking up things and basically, when you go to court, it's not what you think it is. It's all codes and everything. They don't really try law at courts. It's codes, and then we've got the vessel in a dry dock and all that going on and all that crap. And so basically, when you go to court, you've got to say, I'm status. Somewhere along the line, it can be in your paperwork, and you need a trustee. And I'm thinking, God, you need to, what we need to learn is we need to become well, it's not a solicitor, is it? But the equivalent of one. And then when you've done that, that court, you're saying, I don't follow I'm not doing law any way you're doing it. I'm doing it a different way. Because obviously Alan's going through and he's learning it.
Right, so...
But he knows that if you write anything to court, you've got to write it all in a certain way. You can't just write it. Some letters will have to be in capitals, there have to be commas. It's all quite complicated. And they've put us in that.
And I don't by any means say that I've learned all that portion of it, but here's what I can tell you. When you go to court, it's in your chart.
Oh, golly. Sounds like your whole life's mapped out before you come here then, Claudio.
It is, but the only difference is you can play with the amplitude. You can make it more loving, or you can make it more bumpy. But the timing will always be there. But if you resolve what that karma was, those bumps disappear. They're still there, but they're so minute you might just, bump your elbow or something. So here's the thing. Why is it that two people with the exact same issue walk into court? One goes away and one gets fined. Exact same issue. Exact same thing.
Go on then, why is that? Why is that then?
Two different karma. One learned a lesson. One learned a lesson, learned love. The other one, ego's still there. If you're full of love, you'll be fine. You won't go to court. You won't even go. See, in the 42 spiritual laws of Isis, there's one called, I keep my own counsel. You're your own judge. That's the weighing of the heart that you've seen earlier. When you weigh your own heart upon every experience that you get out there and do, that's your own court. When somebody says, oh, they're injured, they have an injury. Well, that's injury. You're in jury. You're in karma. You're in karma. Karma has been delivered to you.
I just find it, he was saying last night that, when you realise that the judge can't sit for the court you're in, and so on, and it goes like that, you realise that the court system is total, that nearly everybody who has been put in prison can get their case redone because it was the wrong judge, so that's the wrong conviction on that person because it had to be the right.
If somebody gets a sentence, it's not about the right judge or wrong judge, it's what's in their chart. They're being delivered karma. There's a lesson there. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's called, we're upon Revelation right now. April 15th, 2023, Revelation 12:1 kicks in. It's the end of Revelation. The last chapter of Revelation before we go into Genesis. Generation Isis. Generation woman, Mama's home. It's a wheel. We've created books that have a start and an end. There's no such thing. There's only circles. We're infinite. In the zodiac, the Dendera zodiac, the zodiac in the sky, the constellations, which form that beautiful. That's our whole life. That's our whole meaning. That's our whole study. That's what we're supposed to be learning, how to sail the seas. The sail the seas is not the ones on the ground. It's the ones in the sky. The stars map the lands 100%. If you ever want to see how the stars map the land, go to udemy.com/Gleason and we overlay the zodiac. And if you go look, you'll see Aries lines up exactly with America. Next one is Taurus. Taurus lines up exactly with South America, where the bull is. Taurus, the bull, lines up with South America. We'll jump over to Leo because these are easy ones. Leo the lion lines up with Africa, where the lion is. Virgo lines up with Isis, the Great Pyramids, where the Virgin is, the queen without a king. Libra lines up with India, where all the beautiful India, man, they're so balanced, they're so full of love. Heart as light as a feather. India is like that. Scorpio lines up with China. Isn't that where the scorpion is? Part of Australia lines up with Scorpio, a portion of it. Isn't scorpions in Australia? Corona Australis lines up with Australia. New Zealand, the first waters that come out, lines up with Capricorn, half fish, half goat. The stars map the lands. That's why the globe used to show the stars on it, which map the lands. That's where the confusion came, and they started mapping the lands on the globe instead of on the inertial plane, the flat plane. We don't live on a flat Earth. We live in around Earth. We live in the womb. We live under the firmament. The stars map the lands. The California coast in 1465 severed, because that's where the Phoenix Rising happened. The last Phoenix Rising. Revelation 12:1 talks about earthquakes, volcanoes, lava, ash, volcanic hail, which science calls meteorites.
Can I say one thing, Claudio?
Always.
Because I know that you really like the round map, but the Union Jack runs on the top of that, and there are 4 corners, no circle. There's no circle. That map doesn't do the southern hemisphere. Everybody who lives in the southern hemisphere says that map doesn't serve them. It just doesn't work. But it doesn't work for any of the southern hemisphere, which is Australia, half of Africa, most of South America, and the Pitcairn Islands.
Yep.
But I do agree that there are a lot of circles in what we do, and we don't even know what we're living on. Maybe I don't know if I don't know what it is. And maybe there are pods like us with this, like, well, we've got a Union Jack. They obviously have something else, but yeah.
Go look is that if things between 2,000 years ago and now, you run the risk of looking at a misinterpretation. Mother Nature only does the Fibonacci spiral in and out, which, like Ken Wheeler teaches, you have the inside of the donut, the torus field is the hyperboloid or the
yeah. We're supposed to live in one of those, aren't we? A toroidal field. So yeah.
Right, the torus field, and together the two of them make a sphere, which is a circle when you look straight down on it. Well, you can only look on it. It look like a circle no matter what direction you're looking at it. Right? That's the 2D projection of the Gleason map. The Gleason map is 100% real.
Yeah, but it doesn't work in the southern hemisphere. It does not work in the southern hemisphere.
Sister, if you go grab...
Anyway, I know this because people tell me, but I don't want to go into all that because that's the only difference me and Claudio have is the shape of it. But none of us know for sure. We don't. So let's carry on. Let's carry on because I like what you're saying. Come on, carry on.
Okay. Right. So the stars map the lands. If you go grab Ptolemy's...
Because I get to see... I mean, because I think America and Canada are so big, everything's stretched across the sky. But here, and when I went to Denmark, it was even smaller, but it wasn't actually around the person's house. It was in a field going round and round in a little circle in Denmark. But, you know, the stars go round my house here. I see them every night, the same thing.
Well, yes.
Obviously, it changes with the summer and winter, you know, like... where you get to see the Big Dipper coming up and going down a bit.
The sun's constantly moving. In December, you'll see Orion's belt at midnight right overhead. Around Christmas time, that's the story of the 3 kings and the sun. And every day, the sun moves across the zodiac, right, towards the east. Sirius be more and more towards the west, and eventually you won't see it anymore in the night sky because the sun will be transiting it. That's called the duat. This is what the Egyptians teach. Every star that rises in the east is important to us. If you want to learn how to sail your lives in the future, You need to watch the stars. You don't have to watch the stars, but you can watch the signs around you.
Yeah, I'd like to bring everybody here and show them what the Big Dipper does around my house. I would love it. I'd love to get Gillian from Australia here, because they don't see the Big Dipper at all. She sees totally different stars. But I'd love to grab your hand and say, Claudio, look at this. I'd have to speed it up for you a bit, wouldn't I? Because it takes a few hours to go round. But, you know, if you were like me, I would go out and watch what those stars were doing. And they say that the Big Dipper, those stars don't belong to each other, but they all work together. And I've seen that thing, it turns round, it turns itself round, turns its tail round, it changes direction, goes north, east, south and west. That thing's amazing, that Big Dipper.
But the illusion of it going in different direction is because the sun is in a different spot.
Yeah, well, I'm not even sure, Claudio, because I thought about this myself, and then something happened. You know, you get a very brightness at the back of the moon, and no one really knows what that bright light is, but that's what shines through the moon or whatever. But somebody, it's on Sun and Moon. Hang on, the video's finishing. Let's just change. Oh, it's, you know, you've got a couple of more minutes yet. He got a paperweight where the light went in was just a little point, so say like a moon, but the light came out on the other side of the paperweight, and obviously that's the sun. So the back of the moon could be the sun, or reflecting out. So the moon could be the sun. I thought that many times, because when I've seen people video it, the edges of the sun are all wibbly wobbly, and the edges of the moon are all the same thing ages ago. But it's very interesting. The video, I'll send it to you afterwards. It's just showing you a paperweight and him putting the torch down and how the light travels through it. And you know, the paperweight in a way is a bit like the dome, like your pregnancy inside the womb. But it does, obviously it has to be a certain shape. But what's above us is not solid, is it? It's air, watered down water. So I'm not quite sure how it all works, but I think that person was getting there with their idea. I like that.
The firmament is pure ether. It's hard.
Oh, the top of
it's
it,
ice.
You mean? Well, yeah.
But you just can't get to it. Ice.
But see, I've just done some videos, Claudio, that in the 1700s they drew the maps that Australia was adjoined to Antarctica. And it probably still is. I don't know how they've done it and stopped people going there. But there's a kind of doggerland between Australia and Antarctica. But maybe the floods got rid of it. I don't know. But it definitely adjoined Antarctica like South America did. And you can see a big shift happened on the ground. Like it went to the right. And then it happened around Malaysia where they've lost a lot of land. It happened there as well. So like the opposite sides of each other. But it looks like, you know, what is it? What's the state next to Canada that's American? I can never remember what that one is. Alaska. Alaska's, when they look out at the Dolomite Islands, they look at extra land. And we know it, well, I just don't think it's Russia. I think it's more land. So there's no ice there. There's just, well, there is in the winter. And I think we get cold places and hot places. But there's more land. I think it's right under our noses and we don't realise it. Because, you know, if they wanted to fight Russia, why don't they just go there and kill each other off at that point? There's just 52 miles or 50 odd miles between America and Russia, say. Why don't they just kill themselves off there? They'll have to involve the whole world. Why? They can do it. No, but do it at that point. They could kill each other off there, and so forth. No, but I'm just saying it won't happen because I don't think they're next to each other. I don't think they're next to each other, Claudia. I think it's extra land. One second. We've got to change the video. We've changed videos now. Unity, it says there on your video. Unity, Claudio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the lands, you got to remember the Russian dolls. Remember, the stars map the lands. The lands will always stay the same shape, but we have to keep the divine ratio of 1 to 5. That's the cubit, right? It's related to the cubit that the Egyptians have. When I use the term Egyptians loosely, but when I say the word Egyptians, it means us in previous lives. We've left that for us so we can understand our way home. So those waters and those land shapes will always be very similar. Like I said, in 1465, the California island was created from an earthquake. That's the big one. Happens on a phoenix rising. Is there one going to happen this year? Maybe. I don't know, but it's in prophecy that it does. All right? So what happens is that a California island is now gone since 1465. Where did it go? It folded in. That's your plate tectonics. It happens every 558 years. It's no different than the water that hits the shores and keeps eroding the lands. There's a slow process. It's no different than when you go to a cliff and all of a sudden a whole chunk goes away. That's the stars keeping them lands in the same shapes.
So I just realised you call the 15th of April Phoenix Rising. Yeah.
Yes, that is the Phoenix Rising date. What happens on that date remains to be seen.
Is that when Jesus should have been born? You know, the whole thing where he's going to have to be crucified, isn't he? But it's actually his birth, isn't it?
This is the Phoenix Rising. This is when Christ rises from the dead.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
This is us getting our reawakening that we are spirits here, having a human experience, and to come back to love. But the rivers that you're talking about that goes to other lands is another misunderstanding. It has to happen in your mind. That's called the dual equinox. That California coastline and going through between Alaska and Russia is the part of the dual equinox that the Egyptian walls teach you about. That's where you get to skip jail and go directly to go. It's not a physical place. You don't drive there to get there. You drive there with your mind.
I suppose when you're talking, Claudio, you've got to be at home in yourself. Otherwise, it's hell, isn't it? Inside yourself, I mean, we're talking. You've got to be at home in yourself. You've got to work yourself out. You've got to, whatever it is. Once you're at peace with yourself, life is different, isn't it?
What's within you, to the deepest core, to where your heart, the bottom, in and out of the ether. So the only way to get in there is to make sure there's love everywhere around you, so you can connect with it again. And the people in your life, no matter where you go, whatever you experience, is your guidance. They're trying to show you how to get to that stream in the middle that you just talked about, where there's other lands. You get to go to those lands. You get to skip rungs on Jacob's ladder. But it happens within. You can skip the wheel. You can skip a grade. But we're trying to find it materialistically. You will get a materialistic change on the outside, and it'll be absolutely beautiful. But how do you get there? It comes from within. This is what they taught in the Egyptian walls. This is what everybody's missing. We keep keeping ourselves busy trying to decide which misinterpretation is better. But they're all misinterpretations. We got to find the texts that lead us to the truth. The more we go towards finding the truth, I'm not talking rabbit hole truth. I'm talking about the truth of who we are. We got to change.
So this whole thing that's going to happen in April, what does that mean? Does it mean that people, and then the people change it because they change?
I'm not. Can you rephrase that? I'm not sure I understand.
Really sorry, I've got a tickly throat right now. This whole thing in April, the Phoenix Rising, is that something that's for everybody? Is it just for the people who are waking up? Is it that they're going? Is it that the whole structure's going to change?
Okay, so it's for everybody.
Right.
Here's why. In 1465, the sun turned blue. The sun didn't turn blue. There was a haze. There's a lensing effect. The lava is the red shift that represents our blood. The sun turning blue is the blue shift representing love. To neutralize the red shift is in us. us going in not full of love, and when we're in debates with people about misinterpretations, and meanwhile they're both misinterpretations of the earth, which is the lava. So everyone gets to experience a blue sun in 1465. And the blue sun is casting blue light upon us, which is loving, which is neutralizing us to get to the center, the green. So it's for everyone. It's been
Does that mean they
happening
were
since
happier then?
January
Were they happier people then? Till they happier then, Claudio?
It's still in the Piscean age, but yes,
Because they had
a
a
lot of
blue
Christ
sun.
conscious people. After Mama leaves after 150 years, we go back to our same shenanigans in the Piscean age. This time we're going to Age of Aquarius, which is John the Baptist, which is the forgiveness of sin, the forgiveness of sine waves, karmic waves. But our journey during this transformation process could get a little bit bumpy if we're not love. So it's for everyone. I'm watching people all around me go through it.
What does that mean? Does that mean we're going to turn our backs on some of the old ways? You know, the Romans and that. Are we turning our backs on them or something?
I don't know what you mean by that, but
Oh, you mean because they're not really in our life? It's nothing to do with them. We just get on with our own lives.
But Romans were good people. We're trying to look for blame somewhere, but the blame has got to be in the mirror.
Wow.
We're experiencing this karma.
The television lies to you and everything and pretends we're at war. I've worked out that wars mean immigration and changing the law. They change the laws in emergency law.
Right, but it's time now to shut all that off. Mama's home. She's going to say, "What have you been watching?"
No, I'm just saying that's what's been happening in the world. But you're saying go in yourself and rebirth, basically.
The only way to do it is watch for the signs that are happening around you. You should be able to walk anywhere and experience love. If not, then there's something
happening on July the 21st then, Claudio. It says retrograde, 42 spiritual laws of Isis.
I can't see your screen, so yeah. So that's every July. So the mother, pure love, aligns with the stars, aligns with on July 21st, she goes retrograde. So she goes direct on New Year's Day. She goes direct on New Year's Day, get this, and she goes retrograde on July 21st. So we have one in a new year when she goes direct and one when she goes retrograde. She's now lined up with that process.
Do you know what that sounds like? Sounds like we should be celebrating Solstice Day probably then, in July, not in June then. That's what it sounds like.
Well, solstice is the sun. That's you. Your attached interpretation comes in. That's still a truth, but that lines up with the fixed signs, fixed zodiac of the houses, which maps the stars. So 100%. July 21st is when the River Nile floods. That's the period of the mother. She's giving birth. That's why there's rumors of a phoenix rising, that all the water of the mother breaks. The River Nile goes dry. That's been in prophecy. That's happened throughout the ages. That's happened in 1465, 209 BC. So this happens. What's the whole world going to do? They're going to blame Schumann resonance, solar flares. They're going to blame all this other thing, but they're not going to understand why the earth is behaving like your body. You're not going to understand that the stars map your body and it maps the body of the earth. It's a reality. It's a reality. Everything is in golden divine principle. We are of that divine. And if we want to ride that gravy train, study the Egyptian walls. If you don't want to study the Egyptian walls, pay attention to every single sign that's around you. Do your or guidance. If somebody's going rar, means don't go that way. And then you got to ask yourself, why did that guy say rar? What did I do today that led me down that path to see that guy say rar? Because the dog could have barked at me, asked for some more water before I left to make sure I was on that right path for that day, and you would have found those, except people that wanted to give you a hug, maybe. That's what Revelation's about. We're all going to understand and start seeing those signs more and more. People are starting to see numbers like crazy. That is one of the first signs that people see. They start seeing repeating.
And often people don't understand that. That just means you're more in tune when those things happen. But it doesn't. People don't sit very comfortably with it when it keeps happening. They think, oh, there's something wrong. Look, I keep seeing the same numbers. But in reality, it might happen different things with other people. But it just means you're in touch with yourself. That means you're in touch. It's showing you're in touch.
Right. So your whole life, your body was trying, your pure love was trying to get in touch with you. Your whole life. Some of us got to see based on the ones that already knew are the ones that already did their work the previous life. Us, who didn't know, obviously we weren't in tune and we didn't work on our previous life, our next life, last life. So now, with this in mind, we need to work on our next life because we're coming back. The only way off the wheel is to say, you're pure love. That's the only way off. So when people say, I'm tired, I don't want to come back, well, you better start working on that.
What do you think happens to all the people who don't want to come back?
They get induced with love and they come back.
To change the evil world.
It's only evil if it's your world, because a lot of people out there right now are having an awesome time because they worked on their next life.
I do see what you're saying then, because, like, I always get worried, because I think, oh no, this is happening. Oh, I don't mind for myself. I know who I am. That's not about me. But I think, oh, the people are going to worry about they're going to, and I think, oh, and then because a lot of people haven't woken up, and we need them all to wake up, because then they see it and realise it. But more people are waking up.
So you're infinite, yes, absolutely. So you're infinite. And with infinite comes the task of being patient, because not every pear ripens at the same time and falls from the tree, right?
I'd like to have a magic wand, and I went, you're all awake, you're all awake, 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 and it would change everything. I'm sure it'd bring more problems as well, but I'd rather everybody was awake.
Well, hold on to your slacks, because Mother Nature usually has a plan. It's happening now. It doesn't happen as a magic wand, but the magic wand is already being waved. It started in January 12th, 2022. Sorry, 2020. That exact scene that happened in the sky is on the Egyptian walls. So the Egyptian walls are showing you when this alignment happens, you will start your cleanse. Your 7 scorpions of Isis, the 7 plagues in the Bible, the 7 colors of the rainbow, which makes up the physical portion of you, and that's how you feel things. Virus, the word virus, is a snake spitting its poison, the kundalini. All delivering higher, pure light, and we're cleansing from the inside out. And it's all in the chart too. I can prove it all. Everyone's chart. When people call me, I got this going on in my life. Do the chart and show them, here it is. Because I said, you don't need it. You don't need to run to a doctor. It's a wave. It goes away.
You don't go there.
Right. No, because we need to go to past that, jump over that rabbit hole and go back. And that's called us and our karma and our reincarnation and our skills at reincarnating. You only need one rule. love. If you need more than that, go to the 42 Spiritual Laws. I got a copy on iudemy.com/42. You state those and stay true to those, watch your world change. There, you don't need nothing else.
Yeah.
If you need help past that, you get a hold of me.
Oh yeah, you can always get in touch with Claudio.
Always free.
I'll put obviously your link. I'll put a link to your channel in the description.
Yeah.
We've been going for just over an hour, but I wondered whether the next bit, maybe we can, I don't know.
Yeah.
Round it off and finish it off a bit. Obviously, Claudio's always making videos, and oh yes, David, Jim, Meteor, yeah. I haven't heard from him much lately.
Yeah, we chatted a bit.
He's got a new job and he's bought a house and stuff.
Oh, awesome.
So he's sort of So I haven't spoken to him for a few months now. But I love David.
He's an awesome brother.
Yeah, he is. He is. I'll have to I'll have a hangout. I'm sure he'll say yes.
Anytime.
I'll do that. I'll message him today or tomorrow, and I'll ask him that for I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's quite incredible that it's all in your charts, Claudio. It's all in the charts.
Everything is. I just did. I found out what gives the people when they're born without hearing. I found that. That's easy. That's the Pleiades. The Pleiades. That's the ear. The seven sisters. Alcyone.
Do you think people are opening up a bit more? They're opening a bit more up to astrology lately. Do you think more people are opening up to it or not?
They're tuning in. They should. It's like I said. Your guidance isn't everything that's happening around you. So
see, what you have to do is you have to take off the fact that they told you that it's all stupid and evil. And once you do that, you can understand astrology more. And to be an astrologer, it takes years to understand it all. I had friends do it. It takes a long time.
Now, it would only take you about 6 months to understand it now. Because if somebody really, really wanted to learn, we got a book written on it that we're going to update the book, and we've got a set of videos that walks you by the hand through the book. And all you need to do is learn 19 new friends. Those are the luminaries. You learn the qualities of those new friends. That's what makes you up. And then you only got to learn a new neighborhood with 12 houses in it. Once you understand the vibration of those 12 houses in your neighborhood, no different than when you're growing up, then that's it. So it's very simple to start learning how to do astrology. It really, really is. And it's always free to learn.
Yeah, I've always believed in. Once I hit astrology, I don't know, I was about in my late 20s more, and I didn't actually learn it, but I learnt bits about it because everybody else was doing it, and it just amazed me. You know, I'm just the bits of my rising sign, my moon sign, and my ascendant. It's me. All three of those are me. Obviously, I'm a Gemini. That's my sun sign, so I talk a lot. And then I have moon in Pisces, which is obviously where the empath bit is. And I'm a Libra rising, so I like balance. That's just so me. I so want balance I like balance. I don't like the scales tipped. Yeah. But I learned that a long time ago, and I realised that it was just so me, like the explanation of things. And people think that astrology is about 3 lines in the Sun newspaper, and it's not.
No, I mean, there's always divine timing, right? So you can go listen to an astrologer that says a generic what's happening in the sky, that's fine. And you may get a message because you were directed to go listen there. The thing is that everybody's natal chart is different, so not everybody gets affected by that generic what's happening in the sky.
Yeah.
And once a week I look at see what's majorly happening in the skies, so people know. And if you feel something, it's in your natal chart, and understand it's just a wave and it goes away. If you're feeling something that's not good, there's a lesson to be learned. You didn't catch a virus, you didn't catch anything. What you're catching is your own wave you've left behind that needs resolution.
Oh, well, I have had a little bit of a cold, but some people get it and they're like really coughing all day long for days. I didn't get any of that. I've still got a little bit of a cold, but I haven't got it like everybody else. But everybody I've been near has been ill.
So what's the truth about a cold?
What's the truth about
a cold? Why are you?
No, you say that's us cleansing.
Right, you're cleansing.
But I'm just thinking, some people got the like non-stop that all day. I didn't get that one. I just got a bit of a cold. I've got, I think, oh, thank you. All that coughing. God. It's quite cold here at the moment, Claudia. Well, it's 4 degrees, but it's been quite cold here.
Cold means pure love.
Oh, it's pure love. I have to remember that. I'm so cold and I'm in love. I'll have to remember that one.
Catching a cold, what you're doing, releasing materialistic things that no longer serve you. It's vibrating cells, atoms, whatever, waters out of your body. It's releasing. It's no different than crying. It's no different than vomiting. It's no different than coming out your other end. It's no different than the nose, coming out your ears. It's coming out of the vortex of different portions of your body. You're releasing things that are not good.
Yeah, you told us all that with a few years.
There is a luminary that is lighting up in your chart that says, okay, time to cleanse. If your cells are all in beautiful, loving states, then we don't cleanse no more. I still cleanse. I don't get that type of anymore, but I still do a lot of stomach things because I have a lot in my stomach and intestines in my chart.
Well, I'm not going to forget you, Claudia, because if I ever see a fly bumping into me, I think, something's coming! Something's coming! Claudia says! That's what I say every time. But obviously we're winter now, so there haven't been any flies. But whenever there's a fly and it won't leave me alone, I think, something's coming!
What does fly mean, sister? Did you look it up?
What?
I'll look it up right now because you said it.
Oh, right. It's just the fly is trying to tell you something. That something's coming.
Right. The fly says right now, this is random, so it comes up with different ones. Reevaluate your thoughts about yourself. You are far more than you think. So when a fly comes around you, he's trying to tell you, be brave, be good, you are a god, you are a goddess. Here we are, these beautiful animals. Anima means soul. That's why on the Egyptian walls you have animal-headed bodies. Because there are guides. And what are we doing with our guides? One of the things that is going to become demanded of us is to become vegan.
Can I ask you something? Were they animal heads to do with the stars or to do with food? Because, you've got Taurus the bull is a star set. So you will have stars.
The animals are not food.
No, I didn't mean that. But when they put the animals on their heads, are they talking about food or are they talking about the stars?
The animals are not food. They're your guides. They're your soul guides. They're trying to teach you which way to go. They're trying to help you find that river, but it's an internal thing. They know how to, they're dedicating all their lives to help us get there.
Right.
Get it?
Right, okay.
And what are we doing with those animals? Not good things. In Genesis, after Revelation, so this year and the following years, Mother Nature takes domain. We will all be vegans again. So if you want to start your cleanse early, you might want to consider going to vegan, plant-based only. Take it in steps. It's 100% healthy. The rest is all just marketing for the animals. The people that are trying to make money off of it. You don't need the vitamin B12. I don't take any of that. You don't need any of that. That's all in your chart. Everything you feel is in your chart. So you're 100% can be 100% totally healthy. The Mr. Universes, the top bodybuilders in the world, are all vegan. I'm not judging. I'm giving you a hint, a guide of what's coming down the road.
Yeah, I think, Claudio, that we should do another hangout in April then.
What's that?
I think we should do another hangout in April.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The rebirth will have happened then.
Well, but we already are rebirthing. It doesn't happen like that.
Right.
It's happening. The peak is on April 15th, but she's already cusping. She's waving the magic wand, and the wand's going to go right. It's beside you. You can feel the energy already, but it's going to peak and hit us right square between the eyes on April 15th. There's going to be people that are going to pass out. And I'm one of them. My chart says I could be one of the ones that just pass right out. Oh well, I'll come too. It's all good. I've already done people's charts that pass out. They're getting a mini eclipse. This is the eclipse, though. An eclipse on April. There's an eclipse on April the 20th, 5 days later. And then if you look at one of our last videos, I think it's the one with the ball, the crystal ball. The song Age of Aquarius, when the moon is in the 7th house and Venus aligns with Mars. When Jupiter aligns with Mars. We finally figured that one out. It happens this year in October and November. There's 2 major alignments that happened that song wrote about. We finally figured it out.
Do you know, it's a bit weird, Claudio. For me, looking at this, because obviously, I didn't see this one before, but the little girl, my son was born on the 11th of January, and that little girl with her eyes closed, the Book of Proverbs, looks a bit like my granddaughter. Isn't that crazy?
No, it's nothing crazy about it.
I'm not saying my granddaughter's that old. My granddaughter's only 15, but it could be her when she's older. Look, my son was born on the...
Yeah, what's in your ball? The sneak peek? That's the video I'm talking about.
Oh, right, that's the next bit, sneak peek on the back, because the girl. I was gonna say that after the hangout, but then you said the girl. I thought, oh no, I'm gonna have to say it now. I just thought it's quite crazy.
Perfect timing, because that's the song Age of Aquarius. The moon will be in the 7th house, and the moon they're talking about is the north and south node. Libra and Aries is the libraries. Libra plus Aries is libraries. The book of your actions. That's where the weighing of the heart ceremony takes place. When your heart is as light as a feather, you get to ride that dual equinox to the distant lands. In other words, your reality changes all around you, and everything's going to be beautiful. That's what we wrote for ourselves.
When we talk to you, all we do when we talk.
If we want to go out there duking it out with all of our brothers and sisters and say who's right and who's not right, but we're both talking about stuff that doesn't matter, then you're missing this boat.
Also, you know, when you're talking, it's a bit like we go to pause button, but then we go to play and pause and play. That's what you're like, Claudia. Pause, play, pause, play.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even our hangouts, pause. It's only a pause with Claudio and Sue.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you coming to talk to us, because I know that it's like your life. It's what do you call it? It's like your destiny to do it, isn't it?
We're all destined to go there. We just got to realize it.
And you can't stop either, can you? But it's good that you try and tell everybody. I think
it's too invigorating. It's too invigorating. It's such a fantastic feeling.
I like the fact that you've brought these other beings and gods, astrology, because you just brought it all together with what you do. Oh, it's finished.
We are all the gods and goddesses.
Sorry, I'm eating crisps if anybody can hear me. Sorry. I was having lunch and I'll finish now. But what's that? By the fifth dimension you've got put up there.
That's the name that's Age of Aquarius by fifth dimension, yep.
Yeah, I think the more you're in tune with yourself, the higher it goes in your brain. And then I think you hit other things and you see other things because of those dimensions in your brain. It's in your brain, isn't it?
It's in every atom.
Yeah.
You know, God is everywhere. No, it's love is everywhere. The divine feminine is everywhere. The black hole in every atom is the ether. Ether is 100% synonymous with love. So every atom that's around you, if you love, then you're connected.
Is that what you'd like to call love? Love by Claudio.
Love by us, not by me.
Yeah, it's by Claudio. It's your hangout. All right, love by Claudio. Love by Claudio for us.
No, now you're removing yourself.
No, I said for us.
It's everyone's love.
Oh, we'll work that one out in a minute when we're off air. We'll work that one out. But
it's all good.
Yeah, because you know, like you make videos and things, and all these things take time. But I'm like that, you know, myself, I'm driven to make videos and try and put the truth out as much as possible. I'm driven, but it takes a lot of time to make videos.
It does. It takes some time. It's all good. It's my passion. Like you.
Yes, all right. Well, we come back then. Should we come back in April when this is all like the date you've got? You've got like I don't know. The end of April we'll come back. We'll be in it then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, do you call it a conscious shift?
Call it a what? Sorry?
A conscience shift. Is that what's happening now? A constant, I can't say it, conscience shift.
Yeah, the queen without a king is coming from Pisces into Aries, which is your pole shift. 100%. We're being induced by love. So go with the flow.
Yeah, you've got to go with the flow a bit. You can't control everything. Well, I really appreciate Claudio, and I know that obviously, you know, people come in the chat room, they like it all with your stance on astrology and stuff like that. I very much appreciate all the hard work that you do.
Thank you, sister, and likewise, all that you do.
But you're just going on pause, and then in a few months' time, we'll be back doing it again.
Awesome.
Yeah, look at that. The video's just finishing. You've got a couple of minutes. Oh, I think it's finished actually. No, the video's finished. No, it's not playing. It's got a dark sky. I don't know what that is, but anyway, I've really enjoyed this, Claudio. Thanks for all your hard time, and yeah, I hope people take on board what you say.
I love everybody. Thank you, sister.
Yeah, I love you, Claudio, and I love everybody. Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks very much for watching. Oh, thank you, Claudio. Right. Yeah.
Thank you, sister.
No, love you, Claudio. Love you, love you, love you.
Love you, love you, love you.
You're such the love craze. Anyway, thanks, Claudio.
All right.